Welcome back to the Gweilo 60 channel. She's a hot one out here in Nanning City today. I think we're topping out at about 37 degrees Celsius. Sunny, no clouds in the sky, but yet I'm out here. That's not what this video is about. You've already heard that many times, guys and girls. But you know, the Americans have taken it to a new level. DeSantis in Florida. Now it's illegal for Chinese citizens to buy property in Florida. The ultimate discrimination against the Chinese people. You see, it's not for everybody out there. Only the Chinese people. Why is that? Because it's posh to be prejudiced against Chinese people at this point. It's not the Chinese government. It's the people of China. If you carry a Chinese passport, doesn't matter if you're an international student, it doesn't matter if you're a business person, it doesn't matter who you are, just so long as you carry that Chinese passport, you're not allowed to buy property in Florida. And this is a guy that's going to be running for president of the United States. So you can see where this is all going, the discrimination against the Chinese people. This is not a new thing by any stretch of the imagination with the Americans, with Canadians, with, you know, the top 13%. Let's call them the top 13% because that's exactly what they are. United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. New Zealand's not so bad, but they're in that group of the top 13%. Well, we can make rules against your people. You don't see the Chinese making rules against Americans saying you can't buy property in China. Why not? Well, because the Chinese know what it's like to be discriminated against. They know the history of discrimination from things like Exclusion acts in the United States and in Canada, where Chinese were excluded from immigrating to those countries. Why? Because they're Chinese, of course, because the Chinese will work harder, will work for less. They have this thing that they keep their heads down. They work hard, you know, well, for instance, look at the head taxes back in the day, where I think it started out at $50, ended up at $500 per Chinese head, going into Canada, going into the United States. And they just paid it because they figured if they work hard, if they do the job that they've been hired to do, they'll be able to make that money back and someday bring their family over to a better life. Well, not in Florida, you can't, because Florida has brought in something similar to the Exclusion Act, and Chinese are now not allowed to buy property. Why would any Chinese citizen that does business in Florida, that goes to university as an international student in Florida, not just pick up and leave? Why not? Look at how the rhetoric has been spread through all different types of media, for sure, but YouTube for one. Look at this Winston Sterzel, Serpent ZA. He's a South African, Chinese wife, carrying a Chinese passport. Anchor baby that they ran to the United States and had the kid there so the kid could get American citizenship. And now he spreads anti-China rhetoric around the world on his million-plus YouTube channel. Well, now his wife is not allowed to buy property in Florida. Why? Well, because she's Chinese, of course, and all Chinese are bad, and this is what they spread. So that it's coming back in full circle, which I guess is the way it should be. But the thing is that if this keeps going the way it is, pretty soon Chinese won't be allowed to buy in any state, especially if DeSantis gets in as president of the United States. Then Chinese won't be allowed, if you've got a Chinese passport, to be allowed in the United States. Why? Well, because they could be a spy, of course. They're not trustworthy. They're Chinese. They're the enemy. Yes. So Where are you going to go then? You know, you go back to South Africa, you're not coming back to China. The United States kicks you to the curb. Well, I would imagine by that time, because Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand are all part of that top 13%, they're going to adopt the same rules as what the United States does, because the United States is the leader of the pack. Yes, the United States is the big kahuna in the group. It's the biggest bully on the block. And so the rest of the group is going to take on this. So where are you going to go? Anyway, who gives a rat's ass about this person, his wife, his kid? Because if you spout rhetoric, if you spout hate, if you know, usually that hate comes back and kicks you in the ass sooner or later. So the Chinese have this thing that you know, they just keep working hard. They keep building their economy. They are basically, they have the biggest GDP now in the world. Their economy is getting to be well, number 2, but coming up on number 1. You get purchasing power parity. They are number 1 and have been number 1 for a while now. You've got well, I guess you can't see them from here now, but you saw it earlier in this video, the high rises going up. In a little park like this, you've got no homeless people, you've got no drug addicts, you've got no crime, you've got, you know, you have little parks like this. It's a better place. It's becoming a better place. So I don't know why the Chinese would want to move to a place like Florida anyway. You want heat? Come to Nanning City. We got lots of heat. You want ocean? Go to Beihai, Hainan Island. We've got the South China Sea. You know, off Shanghai, the East China Sea. We've got it all over here. So why go over there? The days of the Chinese wanting to move to a place like the United States, those days are over, because if you go there, you will be discriminated against. The people here in China, the people here in mainland China don't care about the rhetoric. It doesn't impact their life one little bit. They're the manufacturing king of the world. They have jobs. If you want a job here, you've got a job. The only people that this rhetoric and this discrimination bother are the overseas Asian people, not just the Chinese people, the Japanese and the Koreans and stuff, because the rednecks out there, they don't know the difference. They could not tell you the difference between a Japanese, a Korean, or a Chinese. Even if they were talking to you, they wouldn't be able to pick up the dialect or anything like that. So these are the type of people that you're dealing with, and this is the type of people that the politicians are talking to and saying, you know, these are bad, these are bad. We're going to decouple from China. We're not going to buy their shit anymore. How did that go for a Florida community? We're on Florida here today, guys and girls. You know, Florida community, I'm not sure what the name of it was, but I can't remember, but what they did is they said, well, we're making a rule, a law in our city that we're not going to buy any Chinese products. Take them off the shelf. Yep, clean those shelves out. No made in China shit anywhere until, and this is probably the guys, you know, the politicians are making these rules. And it's sort of funny in a way too, because after it was all said and done, they figured out that there's components in washing machines that are only made in China. Every washing machine in the world has this component, and yeah, if you're going to boycott everything made in China, your wives are going to have to hand wash your clothes from now on. Well, you see, that one was that idea was trashed pretty quick, and I would imagine the women were pretty pissed off to find this out. Oh well, you know, it's one of those things. So decoupling from China isn't going to work. The discrimination isn't going to work. They've been through all of this before. So you know, decoupling from China, you're going to make components in the United States. We're going to bring these jobs home, boys and girls. Yes, and we're going to employ all of you unemployable people that haven't been employable for years, decades, whatever. Okay, now your flat screen TV is costing $5,000 instead of $500. Why? Well, because it's made in America. But if you want to be patriotic, you're going to have to buy that $5,000 TV. Yes, that camera, Toyota Camry. No, your Ford Fusion is going to be 150,000 Canadian or American dollars. Why? Well, because it's made in the United States. All the components are made in the United States. People get paid 20, 30, 40 bucks an hour. You know, it's just the way it is. While the Chinese, I was actually going through a Chinese parking lot here, well, being in China, obviously, and I'd say 80% of the vehicles were made in China. 10 years ago, 5 years ago even, I'd say 80% of the vehicles were Western vehicles, Fords and Chevys, Oldsmobile was big, BMWs and Mercedes-Benzes and whatever, a lot of Volvos. But now the Volvo is owned by Geely, so it's a Chinese-made vehicle. So you can see where all of this rhetoric is coming from. The politician wants to be re-elected. They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. But they're never going to do it because you can see it in the numbers. Just the imports from China to the United States have grown exponentially. As this rhetoric is being yarbled at you, they keep importing more and more. Well, we're going to decouple as they keep importing more and more. And who's the buffoon? You are, for listening to them. Going along with this discrimination against the Chinese people. As China grows, as the Chinese people excel around the world, talk is cheap. And that's exactly what the American politicians, the Canadian politicians are doing, is just talking. Anyway, that's my rant for the day, guys. In a park with a lagoon in Nanning, China, 37 degrees. I'm sweating a bit. I got cold beer back at the bike. So I'm going to call an end to this one. And that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe. You know the score. And until next time, peace out. Bye now.